When I got a job working concrete, and it was my first time into the business, concrete, so I didn't know that much. But I kind of oversold myself because I did a few odd jobs, so I pretended like I knew how to do concrete. Well, I was quickly exposed for not knowing that much. And it made the crew I worked with kind of angry because they placed me with a crew who needed somebody with experience. So I needed to get on a very steep learning curve. And prayed for a favor like every 5 minutes, because construction guys aren't that forgiving anyway. Once you get on their bad side, man, it's a long road uphill to win them over. And so I prayed for favor like crazy, and God started giving me ideas and opportunities and things like that. And I found that I could position myself in areas where I could succeed and still be a part of the team. And so I got them to stop swearing at me as much. So that was a big victory. And anyway, we ended up doing this, what is called lightweight concrete. It's very possible it's on every floor here. And lightweight concrete is concrete without stones, and then they inject soap that suds. And so it looks like peanut brittle if you were to break it. So it doesn't have stones. It's got air bubbles in it that harden, and so it becomes a lightweight concrete that they can put in between floors and becomes a really good sound deadening. Well, some people had a job where they had a piece of board on 2 wheels, and they would just walk around and they were smoothing out the concrete. That is a gravy job. So the guy with the most pay got that one. Then you had to put down this roofing felt and fill in holes and staple it and stuff like that. And that was kind of a team thing. We did all that. Then you had to plug holes with insulation and all that. And then there was this worst job. And the worst job was, picture a truck out in the parking lot, literally could be that far away, and a hose about that big around coming all the way into this room, and we're going to start in this corner. And it's filled with concrete. And the job is to hold that hose, and one guy holds the hose. He's got a little harness thing, and he's just holding the hose, so that job's easy. And then there's a guy who has to always be moving the hose, but it can never get kinked. And they kink really easy. Once they kink, the truck is pumping this stuff through with tremendous pressure. And when it gets kinked, it'll either right itself, and then concrete will spray all over the place, and then you got to clean the walls, or you just stay ahead of it. Well, that's the worst job, and I got it. I got it because I probably deserved it. So we were doing this, and I'm working it, and the first day I went home, and I didn't have gloves, because they don't tell you should wear gloves. They can't wait for you not to, so they can watch you suffer and then laugh at you. So I didn't wear gloves, and literally I had no fingerprints on my hands. They were polished like bowling balls. And I actually went home, and I was with Kim, and I go, watch this. And I went like that, and then blood started oozing through all my fingertips. So next day we got a big job, and I remember thinking, I'm not complaining, just praying for favor. Lord, give me wisdom. I put Vaseline all over my hands, then I put plastic gloves on, and then I put some other gloves and duct taped them on my wrist because now it's all slimy inside. And I was doing pretty good. Well, anyway, I figured it out. The Lord gave me wisdom on how to do this in such a way that it became super easy, and it became the job that everybody wanted to do. Once I figured it out and figured out how to work with the driver and stuff, it became the job that the person with the most pay said, I want to run the hose. And I started getting mad at me because I had the easy job. So it was one of those things where once you're in an environment that becomes a hostile environment, it is not the time to punt. It is the time to seek the Lord to where it becomes the most envious position in the group. He has enabled us to bring that into our world to where it's not the worst job. It just hasn't been discovered how it becomes the best job. That's what we get to offer our world. But we oftentimes pray that they'll quit swearing at me, or pray that, God gives me a different job. And really the answer is, I'm going to pray that you get the wisdom to make that the most envious position around, to where they'll be mad because they don't have it. And that happened, we see that in the Old Testament, where people get positioned into really lousy places and they end up rising to the top. And it was those lousy places that brought out the gifts and calling of God in them. Well, that's the world we're in. It's the world we're in, and it's probably more than ever the season we're in. and we can look forward to this opportunity and say we're going to excel and we're going to figure it out, and we can rejoice with the hand we've been dealt, knowing that we're going to unlock it and it's going to really blossom into opportunity, or we can just pray that God gives us a different circumstance. Now, we've probably tried that and it doesn't work generally, because this is the time where the Lord says, no, I really need you to grow up now. I need you to come to me and find out, what do I want you to do? Your blessings are secure. Your blessed assurance is secure. Your righteousness is secure. What I need now is a son and daughter who can turn around and bring my glory face to face with a world that's trapped in darkness. And that will take a son and daughter to do that. And that's where we're at. So it's good news. We've been appointed for a time like this, right? We've been called for a time like this. Telling Trina, we were saved young, pretty young, 24. I mean, that was pretty young. And we think that we're going to live to the point where we will see the Lord's return, but it'll probably be near the end of our lives. And so we literally are a generation that began on a move of God and get to see it to completion. At least that's my anticipation. So I'm excited about that. So we've been given great opportunities to make the most of it.